Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Brian Holman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Holman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we talk with Attorney General Derek Schmidt about the National Attorney General's Agricultural Committee. And inside Kansas Ag, Kansas Soybean talks sustainability, and we get a report from Farm Bureau. And in News You Need to Know, we get our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association, look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. Iowa's egg farmers are looking toward the future and to fully resuming egg production in the state following the devastating avian influenza crisis, resulting in the loss of about 40% of Iowa's egg-laying flocks. Iowa, which ranks #1 in the nation for egg production, had its first positive finding of AI in April of 2015, and to date has lost more than 30 million egg-laying hens and pullets. Iowa's Poultry Association and its farmer members welcome news from the Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship this week that they plan to lift the vast majority of control zones around farms in Iowa infected with AI. Dairy Farmers of America says it plans to pay $50 million to settle a class action lawsuit with dairy farmers in 11 northeastern states and the District of Columbia. The suit filed against Dean Foods, DFA, and its marketing arm, Dairy Marketing Services, in 2009 alleged the co-op worked with Dean Foods to monopolize the market for raw milk in the area. Farmers in Delaware, Connecticut, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Virginia, and the District of Columbia will get an average of $4,000. The USDA projects 2015 U.S. farm real estate value at an average of $3,020 per acre, up 2.4% from 2014. The figure is a measurement of value of all land and buildings on farms and is based on a June area survey by the Ag Department. The highest regional average is in the Corn Belt, covering Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Missouri, and Ohio at $6,350 per acre, but it's down 0.3% from a year ago. Nationally, cropland averaged $4,130 per acre, 0.7 higher, with a 9.2% increase in the southern plains, canceling out the 2.3% decrease in the Corn Belt. And in local news, statewide Kansas farm real estate value decreased from 2014, according to the USDA's National Agricultural Statistics Service. Farm real estate value for 2015 averaged $2,030 per acre. This is down $20 per acre, or 1% lower than last year. All cropland value declined 2% from last year to $2,210 per acre. Dryland averaged $2,090 per acre, down $60 from last year. Irrigated value averaged $3,270 per acre, down $10 from a year ago. Here's our state's current crop condition. Corn rated 49% good and 10% excellent. Corn silking was at 90%, near 93% last year, and 92% for the 5-year average. Soybeans rated 45% good and 5% excellent. Soybeans blooming are at 61% and setting pods at 28%. Sorghum rated 61% good and 6% excellent. Sorghum headed was at 33%. Promoting a growing sector of the state's agricultural economy, Governor Brownback proclaimed August as Farmers Market Month in Kansas. There are more than 140 farmers markets in Kansas. They can be found in small rural communities as well as urban areas. To locate a local farmers market, visit fromthelandofkansas.com/KSFMS, or for more information on how to register a farmers market and receive benefits for the market, please visit fromthelandofkansas.com. Up next in our Ag Feature, we talk with Attorney General Derek Schmidt about the National Attorney General's Agricultural Committee. If you're watching Kansas Ag Report, please stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. GrassandGrain.com. A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for weeds. Online at kswheat.com.
Dick Edwards, 2 miles east of the Town Center Mall on Highway 24.
I'm Dr. Frank Lyons, a physician here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. As one of the only standalone stem cell centers in the U.S., we use your stem cells as therapy for arthritis and some autoimmune diseases.
I'm Dr. Andrew Pope, here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Utilizing the latest technology under strict protocols, we're able to harvest your stem cells from your own fat to treat a variety of medical conditions. The best part about it is, it's a same-day surgical procedure and requires no general anesthesia.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Dick Edwards, 2 miles east of the Town Center Mall on Highway 24.
Thanks for staying with us this morning. We're at the office of the Attorney General, Derek Schmidt, and we're going to visit with Derek about his new appointment to the National Agricultural Committee for Attorney Generals. I think you said earlier there's 56, even though there's 50 states. So congratulations, you're the Vice President.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm looking forward to serving. I'm going to have the chance this next year to serve as Vice President of our National Association of Attorneys General, bipartisan group, every state Attorney General plus the territorial AGs. So there are 56 of us. And this year our national president is Marty Jackley from South Dakota, and I like to think that the fact we have 2 Great Plains AGs in the leadership role was relevant to the organization's decision to go ahead and create a new agriculture committee that will focus specifically on some of the legal issues that state attorneys general get involved in that relate to production agriculture. So delighted.
Regional versus national versus I guess, interstate issues, national waters of the U.S. being probably one of the biggest issues right now.
Yeah, a huge issue, you know, EPA's managed to rename its rule. I guess that's the one thing they learned out of the rulemaking process, was that waters of the U.S. or WOTUS just doesn't sound very good, but it'll always be WOTUS to us. The waters of the U.S. rule is all about extending federal authority over a much larger portion of the North American landmass. And we don't think that it's authority that Congress gave to EPA. EPA disagrees, and that's ultimately what we're going to be fighting about here. Kansas is one of the states that have filed suit in federal court challenging EPA's authority. We're with a group of states, bipartisan group in the Southern District of Georgia. Our goal is to try to get the whole thing put on hold until the legal questions are resolved, and I'm hopeful, but the federal government's always a worthy adversary in a courtroom.
Well, again, that's a national issue. Look at a regional issue like the lesser prairie chicken, which extends from Kansas through Oklahoma and into Texas. Again, it's another opportunity for attorney generals to come together and work together to get that fought.
Absolutely right. I think that's another good example. I think Endangered Species Act regulation is going to be an area that state AGs really come together, again, without respect to partisan lines. For us, the regulation of the lesser prairie chicken, the listing is threatened, has really brought this issue to a head. But of course, the lesser prairie chicken is only one of many, many species that are in the listing process. And so it really is a property rights and land use issue, and state control over land use. To the extent government has a role, our view is it ought to be state government, not the federal government. And of course, most of that private property regulation is personal, it's private. That's why we call it private property. And so I think you're going to see that sort of thing really discussed actively in this organization.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to finish up with Derek, and we're going to talk about some EPA issues pertaining to Kansas. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life. Farmers Insurance, your best protection against the unexpected. Call Agent Dan Key at 785-408-5459. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. GrassandGrain.com. Blue River Traders, the finest selection of Western-style furniture for your home. BlueRiverTraders.com.
We're finishing up with Derek Smith, our Attorney General, in the Warren's office here in Topeka, Kansas. So, Derek, thanks for staying with us. You're a busy guy. I appreciate you squeezing us in today. EPA, you know, we talk about them all the time when it comes to agriculture here in the state of Kansas. Not only are we talking about water, we're also talking about air, and Kansas has multiple coal-fired power plants. We've got an issue coming up, I would imagine, that will trickle down to agriculture.
Well, I think that's right. One of the many new regulations that EPA has put forward here in the waning years of the Obama administration is their new greenhouse gas regulation. We, inside baseball sorts, tend to call it the 111D rule, referring to the specific subset of the Clean Air Act that EPA is claiming authority under. EPA, more euphemistically, likes to call it the Clean Power Plan. But at the end of the day, the issue is to what extent EPA has authority under current law to demand substantial additional regulations of existing power plant emissions, not because of toxins or any other traditionally regulated emissions, but because of greenhouse gas emissions. And we really have crossed a threshold here. It's been determined by the Supreme Court EPA does have conceptually the theory to regulate greenhouse gases, and the fight now is about, well, what does that mean? How may they be regulated? What's EPA have to do? One example, for example, that's a point of friction between ourselves and the feds on this right now. We just won a U.S. Supreme Court case in June where a majority of the court held that EPA has to take cost of its regulations under the Clean Air Act into account. Now here we are just a few weeks later, and the EPA has proposed an even more costly regulation, and in our view has done very little more than pay lip service to the actual cost to consumers. So it's a big deal for rural communities as well as for production agriculture for a couple of reasons. One, because like all of us, folks throughout Kansas are paying electricity rates, and cost matters. Makes a difference between whether you can afford your next family priority or whether part of that money has to go to the utility to pay for the cost of the government regulation. People of Kansas to govern ourselves without unelected agencies in Washington telling us more than they have to, how to live our lives. So appreciate the chance to talk about that.
Perfect. Derek, thank you for your time. You're watching Kansas Ag Report, and we'll see you in just a minute.
Much of the focus on sustainability in agriculture today is on the preservation of finite resources, such as water, soil, and nutrients, for future generations. When asked about sustainability, many farmers emphasize that point. In addition to demonstrating their understanding of and commitment to sustainability, U.S. farmers now must tell their sustainability stories. The general public, with an increasing interest in food, wants to know how farmers achieve continuous improvement in search of greater efficiency. That is an opportunity for U.S. soybean farmers to realize more value for their crop simply by showcasing their current performance. With 95% of them participating in conservation programs, they already lead the world in sustainability. Further good news comes in the form of the Soybean Sustainability Assurance Protocol, which offers U.S. soybean farmers a means to aggregate what they are already doing as a group, then share the results with their customers. Developed by U.S. Soybean Expert Council, the American Soybean Association, the United Soybean Board, and qualified state soybean boards like the Kansas Soybean Commission, the protocol is an acceptable sustainability standard for soybean customers around the world. You can learn more at ussec.org/sustainability on the web.
Much of the water legislation crafted during the 2015 Kansas legislative session built upon ideas brought forward through the governor's 50-year water vision. Water conservation areas are now an option for individuals or groups considering implementation of voluntary, self-determined water management plans. Kansas Farm Bureau policy supports local decision-making and the protection, development, and administration of water rights consistent with their priority. Targeted water augmentation was another topic that gained approval this session. This concept allows for groundwater to be pumped within the Rattlesnake Creek subbasin as an option for satisfying senior downstream surface water rights in the event of impairment. Adjustments were also made to the popular multi-year flex account program so that water conserved during the initial flex term period can be saved, carried over, and then used in a subsequent flex account. Additionally, amendments were made so that the place where water is applied can be slightly adjusted to accommodate more efficient delivery. And finally, language was put into law that requires the chief engineer to give due consideration for water management or conservation measures previously implemented by a water right holder. These statutory guidelines attempt to provide greater confidence that past water conservation efforts will not be penalized by future management strategies. All in all, this session yielded several rather non-confrontational water bills. Moving forward, we'll have to wrestle with how to fund our water needs, both now and far into the future.
This segment brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Impact Satellite, your local authorized DirecTV dealer. Impact Satellite at 785-554-5974.
All the time. Monthly payments of $289, $189, or even $89. How is this done, you ask? Well, with large down payments, low mileage leases, and you must qualify for all rebates offered. Can we do this? Yes, we can. But we'd prefer to give you the straight talk, where we tell you all the information up front, and you make the decision on what vehicle and payment you want. You won't need bifocals to read the fine print here. Dick Edwards, serving the Manhattan, Fort Riley, and Junction City areas for over 30 years.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
You hear it all the time. Monthly payments of $289, $189, or even $89. How is this done, you ask? Well, with large down payments, low mileage leases, and you must qualify for all rebates offered. Can we do this?
Yes, we can.
But we'd prefer to give you the straight call, where we tell you all the information up front, and you make the decision on what vehicle and payment you want. You won't need bifocals to read the fine print here. Dick Edwards, serving the Manhattan, Fort Riley, and Junction City areas for over 30 years.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Internal memos released by the U.S. House Oversight and Government Reform Committee show officials with the Army Corps of Engineers believe the Environmental Protection Agency grossly misinterpreted data used to justify the Waters of the U.S. rule. Major General John Peabody, Deputy Commanding General for Civil and Emergency Operations with the Corps, sent a memo to the Assistant Secretary of the Army indicating Corps of Engineers data had been selectively applied out of context by EPA in the rule. Peabody wrote, "In the Corps' judgment, these documents contain numerous inappropriate assumptions with no connection to the data provided, misapplied data, analytical deficiencies, and logical inconsistencies." The Corps is the primary regulator of EPA's Waters of the U.S. rule. More than 50 pages of documents released highlight discrepancies between the two agencies sharing jurisdiction over the Clean Water Act. Memos show Corps officials are so concerned about implications of the far-reaching rule, they state any reference to the Army Corps name and logo should be removed from all documents related to the rule. With enforcement set to begin August 28th, National Cattlemen's Beef Association President Philip Ellis said this situation clearly demonstrates why the rule should be withdrawn and rewritten with input from all stakeholders.
Hi, I'm Brian Holder with Paragon Ag. The big news for the week was in the monthly supply and demand report. We saw a bearish surprise against the trade's expectation. The trade was expecting moderate declines in the production for both corn and soybeans. However, on corn, the USDA estimate raised the national yield up from 168.8 bushel to the acre from their July estimate of 166.8. That was up 4 bushel to the acre against the average trade guess. No changes were made for planted acreage or harvested on the corn. Corn production is now pegged at 13.7 billion bushel. Looking at individual states, it's apparent that the record-setting yields in the Western Corn Belt are now seen more than offsetting the losses in the Eastern Corn Belt. So on the corn side, certainly a bearish report. As for soybeans, the USDA did lower the planted acreage number by 800,000 acres and the harvested acres down 900,000. They adjusted the yields up from 46 to 46.9 bushel to the acre. So lower acreage but a higher yield gave us a net increase in production nationwide. The big surprise on soybeans came in the new crop ending stocks estimate. The ending stocks on the July report were pegged at 425 million. The trade was expecting a large drop on this report to 301. However, USDA raised it to 470 million bushel. The trade will vehemently debate these bearish numbers in coming weeks and months. For more clarification, give us a call at 888-452-8888. 8751.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Brian Holman, and thanks for watching.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.